Hey, welcome back, everybody. And it has been, I would say, a very interesting week, not only in mortgage rates, but we've got a lot of information that's been coming out from the shutdown that they had with their little in-government debacle. So there's a lot of numbers that have been catching up, and that's some of what we are seeing. So some of the negative reporting has actually come back, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in our local real estate market and how is it really performing in real time, not the January, February, March numbers that a lot of people are reporting on right now. So remember, like and subscribe, and hey. Okay, so I cut myself off there. It was pretty funny. But anyway, here's the thing. We've been seeing a lot of really great numbers coming out in our market. We're seeing that normal, pre-summer kind of mid-spring seasonal increase in activity and including homes coming on market. We're going to go over that really quick. New construction is actually kicking it pretty well. Here's the thing. Some of the metrics you're going to see today, remember, we do on this show single family residents only. We don't include condos. Condos are suffering quite a bit right now. They are definitely on the lagging side of things for a variety of different reasons. And most of the time when we start seeing a lot of first-time home buyers making their move and becoming part of the dominant market, which is what we are seeing, they will actually start to transition that market and focus on single family homes. Then as the move-up buyers start to come into play and start to take and replace the activity level of the first-time home buyers, they go from basically a 28 to a 38, 40% of the market share. That's when the condo market will start to pick up, because then first-time home buyers are starting to take a step back. They're looking at other products because there's too much competition. And, values, mortgage rates, things like that, which have the biggest impact, they will actually then move into the condo. So then our latent condo activity will start to increase. Right now, however, it's lagging. It's kind of suffering right now. So let's get on to our first slide here. Here we go. 2-month glut of data bringing in the new home sales. Here's the thing, okay? So again, they're on the national level, and what you're seeing a lot in the media are your January through March numbers. They haven't even started really reporting on April yet. The Northwest MLS actually just pulled some out. But basically, after dropping 587,000 homes in January, sales rose to 635,000 in February, 682,000 in March. And what it's saying is, hey, listen, we're bringing everything back in again. We're still pretty much sideways, and we have been that way for the last 2 years. And actually, really since 2023, has it been more of a sideways market, and we haven't been making any land speed records for a while. Our inventory has been catching up, but we are still not at the pre-pandemic levels yet. If we add condos and manufactured homes into it, okay, so we'll bump up a little bit more, and that's some of the numbers that you're seeing out in the media. When we look at single family, you're going to see here shortly, it's really not, it's pretty insignificant. All right, so as we take a look at our headlines here, okay, so bottom left, higher rates hit mortgage apps, but only modestly. 100% agree with that. There's a lot of buyers on the sidelines that are still coming forward. They're seeing that the values are there. They're seeing that prices are not going up, but they're just kind of more flat. In some of the, I would consider, rural areas, we're starting to see definitely some downward pressure on pricing. And that is something that we will continue to see as we head into the summer months here. And you're like, what? I thought the summer was good. We're going to get into that. Okay, so the urban areas, well, they're actually still doing quite well. We are still seeing multiple offers for well-priced homes. Yes, we are seeing a tad increase in market times. Part of that is based on rates, and which has the biggest significant impact on what buyers are doing right now. But let's continue on here. So bottom right, mortgage rates move more serious to a more serious recovery. We actually had some really good recovery because they actually went up quite a bit. And then, of course, par pricing today, 6.42. And that is important to understand. Remember, when you're getting quoted mortgage rates, you have to be quoted at the same time of day if you're looking at different lenders. And so really what you should do is watch the 5 questions they ask when getting quoted mortgage rates. There's no marketing. It's just a solid, here are the 5 things you need to know. And it is a big deal because rates go up and down every day. Okay. Multiple times a day. What rates are in the morning can be completely different in the afternoon, good or bad. And you need to make sure if you're comparing 2 different companies, you have to compare them at the same time. Anyway, just saying. All right, let's move on. What's the biggest thing here? Look at that. We have the vacation trifecta. And just love this slide. It is called the Real Estate Ghost Town. It starts towards the middle end of May when we head into the Memorial Weekend. Then, of course, you have that point when the school is out and you have families, doing vacations. Everybody's getting out. The sun is out and people are going camping and just walks and everything else. And their mindset is not on real estate. Then comes the 4th of July weekend right after that. And then, yes, after the July 4th weekend, that's when we'll actually see a big bump in activity with buyers as they situate, they've acclimated. Hey, we've had a month and a half of some sunshine here. We need to get refocused. So start looking at homes, getting into school districts that they need to be, downsizing, upsizing, whatever that might be. And that will happen until the middle end of August. And then, of course, we have Labor Day weekend, kids getting back in school, last minute vacations, got to do things before snow flies. And then towards the end of September, first part of October, it picks up again briefly till about the middle of and end of November. So if you're a seller, keep this in mind. And every single buyer that comes through your house is gold. And remember that and treat them like that. Pricing, look, price is your first impression. And that is something you have to keep in mind. If you overprice, the market is very clear on what they feel good value is. There's a lot of organizations out there providing metrics that buyers look at. They know what's a good deal, what's not. Okay, just like you do. Just keep that in mind. Do not push price during this time because it will absolutely adverse affect your marketing. All right, moving on. Let's come back here. Freddie, we have been seeing kind of an upward tick with some of the drama going on with the feds. That is super important to understand because remember, the feds don't control mortgage rates, but they can affect mortgage rates. And why that's super important for you to understand is because it's publicly traded, all the stuff that's going in Iran, all of the Fed drama, all of the stocks, going and doing what they're going to do. Because it is publicly traded, it has a direct impact. And that's why following the 10-year treasury is super important. They're not tied together, but they freakishly follow each other. And it's a simple metric to watch because they report on the 10-year treasury all the time. Anyway, moving on. All right. Days on market has bumped up just a little bit. 12 days year over year for the same month. 10 days, as far as year to date, more on market. When we take a look at this time from April and May, we're actually down 3 days. And then, of course, when we take a look at the list to sales price, center green chart, you can see that last year we were at 100% of list to sales price and 98% right now. You might say, George, what do you mean by that? All right. If you have a home that's listed at $100,000, you sell it at $100,000, that's 100% list to sales price. Perfect. That's exactly where we were at last year. However, this year we list at $100,000 and we sell at $98,000. That's a 98% list to sales price. Okay. So we're down 2%. That doesn't mean that your home value went down. It just says what is going on as far as the average sale. We're only 1% down year over year. However, we are seeing some downward pressure in some of the market areas. If we consider more of the rural areas, which is having an impact since these metrics are 3/4 of Washington state. So keep that in mind. All right, let's move on. When we take a look at what's going on with the 7-day running average, look, absolutely as expected, 1,410 homes came on market. 1,269 went off. And during the week, funny enough, during the week, this is one of the few times that we actually will see homes coming on market and homes going pended, at least over the last 4 years, where we have seen more active, but not by much, than pended. And it's just like a nominal amount. And you're going to see that here in a little bit when we talk about overall inventory more than where we had last year. All right. So if we come back here, yes, remember to like, share, and subscribe. It just helps the channel, helps people get some really solid information. That's it. No marketing. Let's talk about the Northwest MLS year over year. Look at these numbers. Okay, so the Northwest MLS came out with their stats, which includes, not only residential, condo, single family, and so condos, manufactured homes, and single family. Those are their numbers. We only look at single family, and their number was like, hey, we're up 28%. Okay, condos make up a lot of that. But again, when we only deal with the single family, check this out. So look, we're at 3.9%, 4% more homes. And really at the end of the day, we're only talking about 500 and 490 homes ish. That's not very much. We're at 15,640 right now. And last year we were at 15,054. It's a nominal amount. But when we take a look at the solds, look, for the month to date, which these are numbers to May 8th, look, we're only 98 homes off, but we're 289 homes more pended today than where we were at this time last year. Year to date, we're down 461 homes, but we're up 770 pended homes. Now remember, pended and active, those are dynamic numbers. And when we look at the solds, that's looking in the rearview mirror. And so remember, last month we were kicking it, right? We had, 500 more homes, I think it was, that actually went pended more than it was, and that will translate over to these numbers here. And that means that we're going to start playing a little bit of catch up, and we'll add a little mustard to that too, I guess. Anyway, then so we'll play a little catch up, and so the solds will actually start showing more than we were at last year, because each month we're consistently showing more and more pended than we are sold, and that will translate forward. Okay, just making sure you guys got that. Let me take myself off. There we go. Now, here we go. When we talk about actually list the sales price, even though the center chart here, month over month, for a sales price, we're up 2.2%. But last week, we're down $8,000 average sales price from last week. But year to date, even though it says we're down 1.7% year to date, our average sales price is actually up $2,000 over what it was last week. So really, what are the main numbers so far? Okay, sales are down slightly by 2.5%, or 98 homes. But pendeds are up 18.4% for 289 homes. Average time on market, we're up 14 days year over year, but we're about 3 days less than where we were in April. So that's still a positive direction, but still, we're half a month. That's 2 weeks longer, which means less dollars in the seller's pocket if they're overpricing. Here's the funny thing. Average sales price is higher by 2.2%, $2,000 year over year. Mortgage rates are actually just a tiny little bit lower than where we were at this time last year by 0.39, or basically a little over 1/3%. Big difference when we talk about mortgages. And let's delve into our new construction. New construction's actually been doing quite well. Center chart there. Look, they're only off 8 homes from where they were at last year, but they're up 11 pended homes, which is about 6.4%. Small numbers. They look a little more dramatic, especially like when we take a look at the foreclosures. But here's the kicker. New construction has been doing quite well. When we take a look at it year to date, if you'll take a look at the right chart there where it's big circle, notice everything is down. Inventory is down. New listings coming on market is down. Solds are off just a little bit, and so are the pended year to date. We've been closing the gap and improving their numbers, but we're still taking a look at those. Now, here's the thing. In one of the tile headlines, it said that starts are up, but permits are down. Why? Builders know. They know when to throttle it back to make sure that they don't have a bunch of standing inventory. And so they will continue their starts as they have to. They have to keep that machine running, in which then there are some really amazing incentives out there that you can capitalize on. Make sure you're working with a real estate broker that fully understands how to work with and negotiate with builders. If you go in, understand the site agent gets a bonus for not giving you all the incentives. I'm just telling you, man. Just be careful. So with that being said, builders are actually throttling it back a little bit, creating a little bit more scarcity as we're starting to see a few more homes coming online. But you saw resale homes on market. That's only up, a little over, 3.9%, 4%, let's call it. That's a small number. So the builders are going to be able to capitalize on that. Now, is there going to be an impact on rate? Absolutely. As we get closer to the 6%, buyers come out in droves. As we get closer to the 6.5%, buyers tend to step away because that is, that's anywhere between $50,000 to $150,000 of buying power, depending on your credit score. Go figure. All right. So as we come back, we take a look at what's going on as far as our trend. Look at here. Average sold is up 2.6%, and we were dead nut even for, as far as pricing, for year to date. They're exactly where they were at last year. They've been making some really great headway. Even on the month to date, they're up basically $25,000, and that's not a bad situation. Part of that is creating that scarcity. Now, let's move into bank-owned homes. Here we go. Little numbers as a percentage can make it look pretty crazy, right? Look, it says listing inventory for the month of May is down 20%. That's 4 homes. All right. When we take a look at where we were at last week for a number of homes, look, we have 5 less this week than we had last week. Pending sales are up 66.7%. That's pretty amazing, right? That's 8 homes. So just understand that when we take a look at it, even year to date, we only have 79 homes more than where we were at this time last year. And that may sound like a big number, but it's not. That is a tiny number. 3/4 of Washington State. We have a lot of the COVID era, forbearance type things that were coming into play that is affecting those numbers. And, some people say, is there a shadow inventory? No, not really for our area. Sure, we're going to see, an increase in activity, but the number of homes that may start foreclosure but actually finish it is just barely hit the double digits, more single digits for us. And that's a pretty nominal thing because we do have quite a bit of equity in the homes over the process of the years. They're able to sell their homes. We have seen a few short sales come out, very few. It's not a big deal. If you have questions, please put it down below. Love to hear what you guys have to say. All things considered, it's going to be an absolutely beautiful day. I'll see you on the next video. Remember, smash that subscribe button. Let us know that you like it. And I'll see you on the next video. Take care.